Hey guys, this is Primeval. This is my No Quitters game as Russia, part 8. Here, we were off to a great start. We had a great technological lead, but we were behind in terms of manufactured goods and soldiers. And then, because of some events that you probably will have seen, we got the Japanese and the Iroquois to join forces and come and try to kill us. And it looks like they might succeed here. So anyways, here we're playing, I guess, a bit of tower defense type deal. Guess what we want to kill. Alright, up next we've got... what could possibly help us in this situation? I guess we may as well work our way up towards replaceable parts. We did finish the castle, but that didn't really help us too much. It got us a few more hit points, but those were quickly whittled down by this cannon. Both of our large cities are starving. Alright, so the only unit we have left is this artillery, and I need to decide what I want to shoot with it. Here, shoot that cannon. We got ourselves another great person, although that's not really going to help us. Alright, up next, we've got all of our military buildings. Let's go and grab another Cossack. Japan's gone and landed a whole bunch of ranged units, but his only melee unit is this one knight here. We would face major defeat against that. Now, here... we'll want to go and, I guess, shoot this thing, heal, and hopefully deal a bunch of damage. Ah, there goes Rostov. So if I had managed to attack that knight, things might have been different, but they were not. Alright, so here... and we lost St. Petersburg. I tried to fire with the artillery, but it looks like that's it for us. Here... looks like we're pretty much done. So our capital is up to 64 strength. This has been a pretty good game. I am sorry though that we couldn't win it. We really should have just held back while the Iroquois and Japanese spent all of their resources fighting each other. Now, if we had held back until we had artillery, then it would have been better. So let's see just how effective crossbowmen are at taking down a 64 strength city. And yes, in a multiplayer game, production is what really matters. Unless your neighbor can get significantly a good 2 eras ahead of you in terms of technology, production makes all the difference. So here in Moscow, I guess we can try to take out this cannon with the artillery, and then maybe weaken some lancers with the range attack. Let's go and grab barrage. And we could damage something more relevant. Yep, they're getting a good surround in our city here. Our next great scientist is in 5 turns. I don't know if he'll be able to bulb while the great general is there though. So the game's over for us, but I am curious to see how long it takes all of these crossbows to take down a 64 strength city. So it looks like Kleftor is considering conceding to Virus. That's not really any concern of ours. In Moscow we have walls. a castle and an arsenal. Alright, so let's try to clear some space for our cavalry here. Oh man, it didn't even spawn on account of not having any space. That really sucked. Anyways, it looks like it's taking a lot to bring Moscow down. Everything is burning. So, as it turns out, since all of these tiles are surrounded, I can't actually spawn new units in Moscow while there is a unit currently in Moscow. It is a pretty nice looking city here. I wonder that burning tower is. Maybe it's just what industrialization looks like. Perhaps Milan will come to my rescue. They're not going to. Alright, so it looks like Japan is intent on taking all of my cities here. Unfortunately, my Lancer doesn't seem to have as much movement as I want. He really should have been able to attack and then retreat. Now, if Japan and the Iroquois start fighting again, maybe we'll have some hope. At least Tyr is fighting the good fight, but it looks like we won't be friends with them much longer. Alright, Japan, I'll hold out and be annoying just for you. A bunch of city-states want different things. Moscow is starving. So it looks like a 65 strength city is pretty durable against crossbowmen, even with a full surround like this. Unfortunately, I can't churn out any new units while surrounded like this. Anyways, I guess I shouldn't make Moscow too much of a prize. Maybe I should start selling off some of these buildings. But I like them all. Fine, fine. Moscow can be a very nice city to capture. Okay, so we could go and shoot someone here. We can also adopt ourselves a policy. If we go down freedom, we can increase the combat strength of our city, and that would be 18 turns from now, so not necessarily too helpful. who do we want to shoot next here? Let's go and chop that forest. And it also looks like Novograd's about to fall. Let's see if we can purchase a wall to get a little more durability out of that. And it'd be nice if Singapore and Florence would come to our rescue here. Alright, so we got ourselves a great scientist. May as well bulb him for some technology. There goes Novogard, so we're about to be eliminated, which means we could get a nice score screen image out of this. Alright, so Japan has now declared war on the Iroquois, which only makes sense. They'd be fighting over my capital, and hopefully Japan has another army that he can go and destroy the Iroquois' infrastructure. Okay, it looks like we're about to fall here. Although the 65 strength city does seem to last quite a long time against only crossbows. Looks like we're almost there. Let's take one last look at the demographics. We've fallen behind in all of these, although we have fantastic approval, and our literacy is a good 17 techs above the Iroquois. Maybe Singapore will help us out here, and I guess they wouldn't liberate Novogard, but at least cause some trouble for the Japanese, who are currently raising that city. I guess they must already have crabs. Anyways, Japan and the Iroquois are now at war, so that's probably a pretty fun game for them. Next turn, if not this turn, we should lose Moscow, and then we'll be able to have a look at the final end game demographics. So Moscow's now down to 0 health, and should be captured any second now. Alright, good game guys. Let's go and have a look over the demographics. Alright, so if we look at the map, that is an interesting map. So the Iroquois also had a nice isolated start, just like us. We had a little more space. China had the bad luck of being wedged in the middle of everyone. The Huns and the Chinese fought a lot, and so the game was pretty much over for them. Japan looked like it wasn't doing too well, but they pushed their military at just the right time and capitalized on China. Meanwhile, the Iroquois took out Siam, and then we were in this stalemate position. Had I let Japan and the Iroquois fight, and gotten my military up to a suitable point, then the game would have been mine, but I got a little bored and attacked the Iroquois, and that got Japan to side with the Iroquois, so as not to give the game to me. And as the game ended, Japan and the Iroquois were fairly close in score, so it's possible that Japan made the correct decision and could go on to take the game. But looking at this map, it looks like the Iroquois have a lot more land, and they definitely had a lot more production and everything else by the end of it. I think... Oh, okay, so we gotta go and push that to the last turn. Let's take a look at the demographics. Yes, I guess that was the final demographics, and the Iroquois are beating the Japanese by 100 hammers. Alright, let's take a look at some graphs here. Score-wise, we were the Russians, which are this yellow line here. The Iroquois were getting a lot of gold from their very many cities, and I guess it was right here that we started our war with the Iroquois. Building maintenance makes sense. Culture per turn. We were doing really nicely until we started losing all our cities. Access happiness. Food per turn. We were doing really well until we went to war, and the Iroquois were also doing very well throughout. Gold per turn. The Iroquois was doing very well. They must have had a nice puppet empire. Golden Ages. Happiness. Improved tiles. Improvement maintenance. Military might. So we were fairly close right up until we declared war, and then the Japanese made peace with the Iroquois. Number of cities. This tells the story right there. The Iroquois were able to take over Siam, and then China, and some of Japan. Number of known techs. For a while, Japan and I were neck and neck, but then our superior science per turn started pulling us ahead. Siam was doing really well until the Iroquois killed them. Population, we were doing pretty well. Number of policies. The Japanese were actually ahead of us on that, so that's pretty cool. I guess they had mostly puppets and only a few actual cities. Science per turn, we were taking off until the unfortunate event. Total culture, total gold, and unhappiness, unit maintenance, worked tiles. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that game. I know the end sort of dragged, but I was wanting to see the demographic screen, and like I said, I was quite curious to see what would happen with crossbows versus a 65 strength city, and it took quite a large number of turns to finally bring that down. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this game. This is PrimEval signing off.